I started sharing with him, our minimum is 250,000. He didn't even blink. He says, sure, yeah, I'd like to invest. So, no, you're so right. I think it's so important. You're so right. I think it's so important that we do the things that will bring results in the limited time that we have. Definitely.
Yeah, sure.
Now, what else would you say to somebody who's starting out? What tools? Maybe I always ask that,
Yeah, tools.
Yeah. What kind of tools did you start with, and have you kind of changed some of the tools that you're using, and kind of throw some light on that?
Yeah, sure. So let's break it into two categories. Like educational, it's all pretty obvious, right? Like podcast, audiobooks, Amazon. Just, you can order a book on Amazon and it'll be at your house tomorrow.
Yeah, totally.
There's not a book out there that you're going to buy that's over $20. So, if I have this philosophy, if I ever am just slightly interested in a book, I don't worry about the price. I'm not going to waste $20, right? Like, I could get 2 words out of it and, have it paid for. So, you see the bookshelf on my back. I've got more strewn throughout this house.
Yes.
I'm a big fan of, buying and reading books.
Hey,
so
this book is a good one.
I like it. I've got it right here.
Oh, you do? Oh my gosh. Bless your heart. And then of course, I've got this one over here, the Apartment Syndication Made Easy book, right?
I've got a pile of these that I give out. This is my personal copy, all tagged and flagged and everything. But yeah, I love that book, Vinney. This is Apartment Syndication Made Easy by yours truly, Vinney Chopra. One of my favorite books out there. But okay, so for some practical tools, people getting started, there's a lot of free software out there, right? You can get on, realtor.com, MLS, LoopNet, depending on what kind of properties you're looking at.
Yeah.
One of my favorite. Correct's a good one.
Yeah, good one right there. Yep.
One of my favorite pieces of software, and it is a paid software, and it can be a little pricey, but I found a ton of value out of it, is a piece of software called PropStream.
PropStream. Okay. Yeah. Okay.
I think it's about $100 a month, so it's a little bit of an investment.
Sure.
But what it allows you to do is search and filter for properties, create lists, skip trace the owner. So it's really good if you're trying to find off-market deals, foreclosure deals, all these kinds of things. In fact, I attribute that software to helping me find and purchase an off-market 8-unit property, which was probably the biggest home run deal I've done to date in terms of financials.
Love it.
We can talk about that if you want.
Yeah, we would love to.
Sure. So
a lot of people, go ahead, please.
This was an 8-unit building that was in my local market that I invest in Oklahoma. It wasn't listed, but it was this dilapidated old building. I just drive by, and one day it just caught my eye, and I thought I ought to pursue that deal. So I go to PropStream, I look it up. I skip trace the owner's contact information, meaning I just look up through public records, and I reach out to the person and say, hey, my name's Jacob. I'm a local real estate investor, yada, yada, yada. Saw that you own this building. Would you be interested in selling? He said, yeah, actually, I'm a home builder. I'm not necessarily a landlord. That building's just kind of a headache. Yeah, I'm not really interested in owning it. And I said, okay, great. Well, I am. And, through the course of negotiation, we came to negotiate. Yeah, he was going to sell it to me for $160,000. At the time, it was a 7-unit. I turned it into an 8-unit. So I bought it for $160,000. It was in rough shape. It was not a nice building, half vacant, needed a ton of remodel work. And I negotiated seller financing, 0% down, Vinney.
Oh my gosh.
So that's a big thing, right? Because you can get into the property for essentially free. I mean, I paid, attorneys and closing costs and things like that. But, that amounted to a few $1,000s. So I purchased it 0% down, a 15-year note at like 5.25% interest rate. And I still own that building now. So what I did is I went in and I put up $55,000 into renovating all of the units. I turned it into an 8-unit from a 7-unit. Got it fully occupied, stabilized with a good tenant base, renovated every single unit, took it from when I bought it, I think it was bringing in like maybe about $1,200 a month in rent. Now it's bringing in about $5,500 a month in rent. I held on to it. I purchased that in June of 2020. And if you think about what was happening in the world at that time, that was like the beginning of COVID. So I'm thinking to myself, do I really want to buy this thing? But a few things I did to protect myself going into that deal, Vinney, I think were really important are I bought it, like we mentioned, seller financing, 0% down. So I had practically no skin in the game.
No skin.
I put it in an LLC. So I had, limited
Protection.
exposure to, liability. And
hi, you are listening to Syndication Made Easy podcast. We will be right back after this short break.
Hi, thank you so much. This is Vinney Chopra, and thank you for subscribing to my podcast and YouTube channel and Facebook pages and all the great things, and LinkedIn. Connect with me. I come live to you every Friday at 9:30 Pacific with Vinney and Bo show. Please also look at that. And also the podcast, which is my Apartment Syndication Made Easy. The book I wrote a couple of years back became international top seller on Amazon International now. And then we like to bring great guests for you every week or twice a week sometime to give you a lot of great knowledge. So please subscribe. You give us 5-star reviews on the iTunes. The better the guests we can bring, and our ranking will go higher also. Thanks again for following us and really getting the most out of it. Please comment, like, share, because we would love to bring better and better material for you.
I put it in an LLC. So I had, limited exposure to, liability. And so, say the project didn't go right, I could lose whatever money I'd invested into it, but that was essentially it. So I decided, let's go for it. I invested $55,000 of my own money into it, fixed it up. Fast forward about 16 months later, I refinanced it. I pulled out approximately 150 grand in cash, and still have it to this day. And it's cash flowing about $2,000 a month.
I love it. Love it. What a tremendous story, and what a real deal. The real deal. During COVID, you found it and you were able to turn that lemonade, made a lemon. Great, good, sweet lemonade out of that. And then refinanced and pulled out the money, and you still own it. And you could, made it a very productive, cash flowing property. Awesome.
Absolutely.
I love that.
And I remember, Vinney, when I was going through the deal, I talk with you every week, and I'm talking to you about, hey, I'm looking at this deal. Here's what I'm looking at. Here's my mitigation plans. Here's how I'm protecting my downside. Here's my plan, fixing it up. And you've done this like dozens and dozens of times on a much larger scale. So it's great to have somebody like you in your corner. Somebody who's been there and done that thing and kind of guide you through that. So to people listening, I think maybe the takeaway there is surround yourself with people who are doing what it is you want to do, or have done what it is you want to do, or are where you one day want to be. Right. So, if I was just looking around my friend group from 15 years ago, they would have said, no, don't do that. You're crazy. But being around people like you, Vinney, you're like, we do this every day. This is cake. No problem. You've got this.
No, thank you. No, this is so great. I know, all the mastermind students still love, coming on Wednesdays, which is great. And I love that 1.5 hour, 2 hour time. I enjoy it so much, imparting knowledge, and it's more interactive. And, we change the ID numbers. I'll be sure that you get that, and if your schedule allows, a lot of students are able to get the recorded, versions, but they are there also, some of them are able to come. No, that's fabulous. I've been so much enjoying, talking to you, hanging out with you. Any particular books you're reading now that you might like to share?
Yeah, let me look around and see what I've got going. I've been reading this book called The Hands-Off Investor by Brian Thurk. He's a big-time syndicator. He's in the Bay Area.
I like Brian. I like him.
This is a Bigger Pockets book. This is the Insider's Guide to Investing in Passive Real Estate Syndications. Now, me personally, I'm more interested in actively investing and doing syndications like you do, Vinney. But what I wanted to do is get a perspective from the passive investor standpoint on what they should be looking for and how they should be vetting both sponsors and deals. So that's a
Sure.
good book I'm reading right now.
Love it. Love
also,
it.
always listening to audio books. So
Yes. Maybe the last thing I'd like to ask is, like, if you were to start over again early on, what would you have changed, you think, in your career in real estate?
That's a good question. I spent a lot of time figuring out how to find deals and finance deals, but not operate them. So I remember, the very first time I bought my very first house, I closed on it, and then I got a tenant in there, and it was like, okay, how do I deal with this tenant, and property management and just systems like that, and you're always going to go through growing pains, but I'd never really put much thought into, hey, what happens after you buy this place and you actually have to run it? Because that's the important part, right? So I didn't think I put too much thought into running the properties, but I've gotten a lot better since then. So
awesome. Very nice. Thank you again for hanging out with me, Jacob. It's such a pleasure. How can people reach you? And please talk about your podcast, which is a great podcast.
Yeah, sure. So you and I, Vinney, both obviously love speaking about real estate investing. I also host a real estate investing podcast called The Real Estate Way to Wealth and Freedom. You can find it anywhere you can find a podcast at. You can find and reach me at www.jacobayers.com or on social media. I'm pretty easy to find. So I love talking with people. If you have any questions or want to reach out and touch base, give me a shout. I'm always happy to talk.
Oh, that's so nice. So nice. Thank you again, Jacob. Thank you for coming. And guys, everybody listening and watching us, if you like this show, please share it, give comments, and give us 5-star reviews on iTunes. We would appreciate that. And we'll see you in the next episode. Thank you so much.